Have you ever known someone that you would say is the walking dead? Why? Probably because they've given on hope and leading the life they want to lead or do something they really want to do. They have no faith. So they don't believe things can ever change. But we know there's always hope because there's always God. That's what today's first reading is about, which is summed up in the last two lines that say, "For God formed man to be imperishable. The image of his own nature he made him. By the envy of the devil, death entered the world, and they who belong to his company experience it." Even when I suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder PTSD that resulted from childhood sexual violence, I always had faith that God would help me and save me from the darkness that tried to swallow me whole. My faith is the most priceless possession I have, and I would never trade it for all the money in the world. That's why I can relate to today's psalm that says, "Hear, O Lord, have pity on me. O Lord, be my helper. You changed my mourning into dancing. O Lord, my God, forever will I give you thanks. I will praise you, Lord, for you have rescued me." In today's second reading, Paul reminds us and the Corinthians how Jesus became poor, suffered, and died for our sake. He wants us to remember how blessed we are as a result, and how we need to do our best to provide for our brothers and sisters in need. Doing so is also an important part of living our faith, because loving others as we love ourselves also means helping to care for them. Now listen to the end of this reading. "For you know the gracious act of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, for your sake he became poor, so that by his poverty you might become rich. Not that others should have relief while you are burdened, but as a matter of equality, your abundance at the present time should supply their needs, so that their abundance may also supply your needs, that there may be equality. As it is written, whoever had much did not have more, and whoever had little did not have less." In today's gospel, Jairus, one of the synagogue officials, falls at Jesus' feet and begs him to cure his daughter dying. Jesus, of course, says yes. And before he arrives, a woman of great faith approaches Jesus in a crowd. Having suffered with hemorrhages for 12 years, she believes wholeheartedly that if she just touches his clothes, she'll be healed. The lesson Jesus wants us to remember begins with the answer to this woman. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be cured of your affliction." Now I'll read the rest of the gospel. While I was still speaking, people from the synagogue official's house arrived and said, "Your daughter has died. Why trouble the teacher any longer?" Disregarding the message that was reported, Jesus said to the synagogue official, "Do not be afraid. Just have faith." He did not allow anyone to accompany him inside except Peter, James, John, and the brother of James. When they arrived at the house of the synagogue official, he caught sight of a commotion, people weeping and wailing loudly. So he went in and said to them, "Why this commotion and weeping? The child is not dead, but asleep." And they ridiculed him. Then he put them all out. He took along the child's father and mother and those who were with him and entered the room where the child was. He took the child by the hand and said to her, "Talitha koum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." The girl, a child of 12, arose immediately and walked around. At that, they were utterly astounded. He gave strict orders that no one should know about this, and said that she should be given something to eat. Like I said earlier, the lesson Jesus wants us to remember begins with his answer to this woman who was healed when she touched his clothes. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be cured of your affliction." Jesus challenges us to have the faith of the woman with the hemorrhages for 12 years. She never gave up. In the midst of her suffering, her profound, rock-solid faith never wavered. She trusted God despite years of prayers not being answered. She lived in what I call the God zone of the present moment, where you're safe, you're in sync with God, and you're so close to him that you see the unreal world for what it is, an illusion. Like the wallpaper on your cell phone, it looks real, but it's totally bogus, and you know it. And you realize that you don't have to see anything to believe in it. The most real, the deepest, most powerful realities are those we never see, like love, trust, and respect. The strength of our relationships with each other and with God is boundless. When we don't harness that strength, we miss out on the infinite possibilities of deepening our relationships with each other and with God. You will still have good days, bad days, and endure suffering and gun. Although it won't happen overnight, you will find that your faith opens you up to infinite possibilities. Persevere, and you will do things you never imagined you could. When you continuously nurture your spirit and relationship with God, when you open yourself up to love God and others like you never have before, you will not only have the strength to hold on to the light of Christ, you will be able to do everything and get through anything. And one day, you will become a light in someone else's darkness. God bless you. And be sure to take care of God's precious gift, you.